Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a San Diego homeowner thinking about swapping that old gas water heater for a hyper-efficient heat pump, you're in the right place. We're going to skip the fluff today and give you a highly practical step-by-step audit to see if your home is actually ready for one. Because the reality is, installing a heat pump isn't just about hauling out a tank and popping a new one in. There's some very specific structural and electrical hurdles you absolutely need to clear first.
So here's our readiness checklist. We'll quickly cover the initial heat pump upgrade, dive into that crucial 240-volt power requirement, map out space and airflow needs, talk about managing the operational noise, figure out how to choose the right model, and wrap up with the exact questions you need to ask your plumber.
All right, part 1, the heat pump upgrade. High incentives, strict requirements.
Now, a heat pump water heater can literally cut your energy bill in half compared to a standard gas tank. And to sweeten the deal, Golden State Rebates are offering $400 to $700 instantly off your purchase. That is incredibly appealing right out of the gate, and it's a massive driver for folks across San Diego County looking to lower their carbon footprint and save some serious cash.
But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. These heaters have specific installation requirements that easily trip up homeowners who don't plan ahead. The trap isn't the plumbing itself. Any decent plumber can handle the pipes. The real make-or-break issue is whether your home has the dedicated space and the electrical juice to support these units for their 15-year lifespan. Do it right, and you get a quiet, super efficient workhorse. Skip these checks? Well, you're looking at poor performance or a really costly, unexpected retrofit. Which brings us to part 2, the 240-volt power requirement. Seriously, your electrical panel is the very first test here. Here is the absolute biggest gotcha for anyone switching from gas. Heat pumps require a dedicated 240-volt circuit running anywhere from 20 to 60 amps depending on the model. Your old gas heater, it probably just needed a gas line and a standard everyday 120-volt outlet to run its control board. And by dedicated, I mean this circuit cannot power anything else in your house, just the water heater. Because of this, roughly 40% of San Diego homes actually need a panel upgrade. Either the 240-volt circuit just isn't there, or the whole panel's capacity is totally maxed out. You have to investigate this immediately because it completely shifts your return on investment. And here's what that actually looks like in dollars and cents. If you're lucky enough to have an open 240-volt slot and the capacity for it, boom, an electrician just runs a wire for about $200 to $400. Super straightforward. But if your panel is maxed out, a full service upgrade is going to hit you for anywhere from $1,200 to $2,500. Ouch, right? Nobody wants a surprise $2,500 bill. Have an electrician check this during your initial estimate. It literally takes them 30 seconds and you'll know your true costs up front. Okay, moving on to part 3, space and airflow needs, because these things absolutely need room to breathe. So heat pumps are taller and wider than your old tank, and they work by pulling in ambient air, extracting the heat from it, and using that to warm your water. To do that efficiently, you need at least 50 square feet of clear space around the unit, plus a minimum of 18 inches of clearance on all sides. If you cram this thing into a tiny closet, air circulation completely fails. It's like trying to run a marathon while breathing through a straw. The unit has to work way harder, it runs terribly inefficiently, and in a worst-case scenario, the compressor will actually just shut itself down if it senses it's suffocating. Picture your own house for a second. An open corner in your garage against an exterior wall? Absolutely perfect. A basement utility room works great too. But a packed interior closet, a tiny crawl space, or an attic? That's a no-go. Most attics don't have the right airflow, and frankly, they get way too hot during a San Diego summer, and too cold in the winter for the unit to run properly. Part 4 is all about managing operational noise. Trust me, keep it away from the bedroom.
This is a factor people constantly overlook. Yes, heat pumps are much quieter than older HVAC units, but we still need to talk about acoustics. If a heat pump kicks on at midnight in your attached garage, it's going to be louder than that completely silent gas heater you used to have. They run at about 50 to 55 decibels. That's kind of like a refrigerator humming along, or a moderate AC unit. Doesn't sound too crazy, right? Well, San Diego's municipal noise ordinance actually caps residential night limits at 45 decibels. Since your heater hums at 50 to 55 no matter what time it is, where you put it is absolutely critical so you don't wake up your family or get a noise complaint from the neighbor. A good rule of thumb, place the unit at least 15 to 20 feet away from bedroom windows and property lines. Now, if you literally have to put it in an attached garage right behind your headboard, you've got to talk to your plumber about acoustic insulation. Throwing up some batt insulation and acoustic drywall can make a huge difference, but obviously that adds to the install cost. Definitely budget for it though, unless you find the sound of a humming motor relaxing when you're trying to sleep. All right, part 5, choosing the right model. Are we going indoor only, split, or hybrid?
If you're looking at your space right now and sweating a little because things are tight, don't panic. You just need to figure out which model type fits your floor plan and your wallet. For the vast majority of San Diego homes, an indoor-only model hits the sweet spot. It runs about $2,500 to $3,500 installed, pulls air right from the garage, and you don't need any crazy venting ducts. But if you just don't have that 50 square feet of clearance or your bedrooms are way too close, a split heat pump might save the day. It puts the noisy condenser outside and leaves a smaller tank inside, though it will bump your cost up to between $4,500 and $6,500. And lastly, hybrid electric models act as a fallback for incredibly tight spaces, though they tend to cost a bit more to run over the long haul. Which leads us perfectly into Part 6, Questions for your plumber. It's time to take total control of the estimate. Before you sign a single piece of paper, you need to make sure the setup meets San Diego code and won't give you headaches down the road. Treat this like your personal script. When the plumber shows up, look them in the eye and ask, is my electrical panel actually sufficient? And if not, what is the exact upfront cost to upgrade it? Ask them exactly how much clear space they need and where they'd recommend placing it for the best airflow. Bring up the noise. Ask if you're going to need sound insulation based on where the bedrooms are. Get their recommendation on the 3 model types. And finally, verify exactly what is included in that price. Make sure the drain pan, a new relief valve, the expansion tank, the permits, and the cleanup are fully baked into that final number. The whole shebang. So here's the ultimate question to leave you with. Is your home physically and electrically ready for a heat pump water heater, or do you need to rethink your space and power setup first? It's super easy to get blinded by those massive, exciting energy rebates, but you really have to face the realities of the installation. Do yourself a favor, grab a tape measure and go check your electrical panel today. Knowing what your home can actually handle is the only way you're going to turn those rebates into real savings without a massive headache. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy auditing.